For years, my two sisters and I begged our mother to learn to use a computer and embrace the digital age. "It's on my to-do list," she'd say, and promptly change the subject. We longed to send Mom emails and photos without going through our dad, who, upon his retirement, had begrudgingly assumed the role of Mom's personal secretary. Up in their home office, Mom would sit next to Dad at the computer and bark orders. "Look up metatarsalgia," she'd say. "Check the rates at the Chatola Resort on August 25th. When it came to answering her personal emails, Mom would dictate her responses to Dad. I imagined her, feet propped on the desk. "Dear Carol." "It's an email, not a letter," Dad would say. "You don't use dear." Mom would roll her eyes dismissively. "Dear Carol." Dad went from owning his own engineering firm to spending his days taking dictation and looking up Michelle Obama's height and weight. "He doesn't mind," Mom would say, but he did mind, and Mom knew it. When Dad grew impatient, Mom would drive over to my sister Carrie's house and pay her to play secretary. They'd spend entire afternoons at the computer, indulging Mom's fascination with Nietzsche's History of Mental Illness, or scintillating facts such as the current tax value of the house where our family had lived in the early 60s. When we tried to confront Mom about her computer codependency, panic would rise in her eyes. "She's just stuck in her ways," Carrie reasoned, pointing out that instead of owning an ATM card, Mom still wrote out checks to cash and presented them unabashedly to the bank's drive-through teller. But the excuse that Mom was a creature of habit didn't jive with her youthful vigor and limitless curiosity. Mom had come on board with other technological advances. She owned a microwave, she had a cell phone, and she knew how to use it. At the ripe age of 75, she loved learning, and she thrived on staying connected to her many friends and family members. So why, when Mom had motivation and encouragement in spades, would she not take the leap into cyberspace?
Eventually, we learned the truth. Mom was afraid of the computer. Decades ago, eager to help out Dad with his new business, she'd enrolled in a summer typing course. While the other students, experienced and half her age, whizzed through drills, Mom sat paralyzed in front of her typewriter. She took to gazing out the window, ashamed, intimidated, and worried about the 3 children she'd left at home. Midway through the course, she dropped out. For almost 40 years, Mom was haunted by the notion that she lacked the capacity to use a keyboard.
Her terror of computers was so palpable, it was as if she believed that the mouse was a real mouse, and it might bite. The crack in Mom's mental block came when her sister Dottie got an iPad. Her 8-year-old grandson taught her to use it. "If I can do it, you can do it," Dottie told Mom. A few months later, for her birthday, my sisters and I gave Mom money toward an iPad, and she bought one with a bright turquoise cover. I sat on the couch next to her and showed her how to set up her own Gmail account, download photos, and perform searches on Safari. She was a natural. "I can't believe how easy it is," she marveled. No one was more pleased than Dad. Mom was finally free to look up anything at any time. Along with images of basal cell carcinoma, Mom discovered YouTube and TED Talks. She forwarded us helpful articles and downloaded the photos my sisters and I sent of our children, our freshly painted living rooms, the sunset from our porches. At first, her replies to our emails were brief and loaded with exclamation points. But as her keyboarding skills improved, she began sending longer, original ruminations. A whole new side of her emerged. She was a gifted writer. Recently, I responded to one of Mom's emails that read more like an O. Henry story. You know, you really ought to start your own blog. Her response came right away. Who knows, she wrote, maybe I will.